Okay, quick story time. Let's talk about one of the worst clients that we've had to deal with recently. We always talk about great client experiences. It's time to talk about the dark side. A client reached out to us with this sketch that he wanted us to bring to life. Keep in mind, the only reference we had was to convert the sketch and no additional instructions. We sent in a rough sketch to the client to check the proportions before refining it, and he gave us a ton of changes which are never really part of the initial brief. This happened a few more times. The more sketches we sent, the more instructions he started giving. And in the end, he was literally AI prompting us. Add 2 people to the right, add 3 people to the left, make this guy smaller, add braids to this person, make the mountain smaller, etc, etc, etc. So we ended up with this for the final sketch, refined it and started coloring, and we kept the client updated throughout the entire process. We had no creative freedom, and there's only so much of an understanding that we can have as an artist on the image that you have in your mind. We ended up with this for the final artwork, and he started complaining that there was no details in the artwork and that we should have submitted this as a rough draft rather than a final. So I was like, what do you mean? It's as detailed as it can possibly get. And this guy's answer will blow your mind. He wanted candies, chips, and a whole list of other requirements inside the shells, inside the show at the far end of the distance. He wanted people inside the mansions in the hills with paintings on their walls. People visibly constructing the Mount Rushmore on the left side of the artwork, and a huge list of similar changes. I then realized that this guy didn't really need an artwork, but what he did need was some crowdfunding for some medical help to get his brain checked. Let's assume we did add all the candies inside the store, which is in the far end of the artwork. His next question guaranteed would be he couldn't see the list of ingredients on the candy. And just for reference, the size of the candy in the artwork for the proportions that we made is going to be 1/4 of a pixel. We obviously ended up scrapping the project, but you might think, listening to this story, that this client must have paid us a lot to be wanting so much details inside the art. But that's where you're wrong, because the client paid us 2 digits in deposit for the artwork, and all we ended up getting were completely stressed and abused throughout the entire process. I think this applies to all professions, but please don't be difficult to work with. Give us at least a little bit of creative freedom to work, and we're not trying to be billionaires here, so please try to compensate us for the work that we put in. We're just trying to make a living out of what we love doing.